Okay, so in this video, we're going to take all these lessons that we learned and we're going to go ahead and apply it to our little R2D2 model. So the first step, I'm going to go ahead and open M, click M for the material, which doesn't work for some stupid reason. Oh, yes. Click on the materials, click on these, we don't need them anymore, so we can delete them, and we're going to go ahead and create a brand new one, standard. And under here, click on diffuse color, box, bitmap, grid. Then we're going to go ahead and take that and make it to 10. And then 10. Then we're going to have click on show shaded and viewport. And then we're going to go and select the whole R2D2 model and apply it to it. First thing is we're going to focus on is going to be the top. And we're going to keep this separate for the time being for the use of ease. So we're going to go ahead and isolate that. And now we're going to go ahead and do the unwrap for this. So I'm going to do UVW unwrap. And then now I'm going to go ahead and scroll down and show the map seams because those are not going to be useful to me right now. And I'm going to paint my own seams for the R2D2. So right here, the focus is going to be the back. So we're going to go ahead and paint the seams towards the back. So I'm going to click on edge. I am going to scroll up and I'm going to find the point-to-point seams. It's going to be here, and I'm going to go click from here to the bottom. Seams in the back. And I'm going to want to separate this visor part right here from the rest of the body, which I want to do separately. So I will go and do edit seams. Control, 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 control. Control, control, and control and control. It's good. So now I have seams. I think it should be enough to do R2D2, but I'm just going to give myself 2 more just so there's not too much distortion. So under this one right here, I'm going to go ahead and select some that are sort of equal distance. So right there and right there. Cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the pelt wrapping on this so it comes out good. Select all those parts minus the ones that I don't want. So for the most part, I'm going to be selecting the main head. No, something's on that shouldn't be on. I have my feeling is ignore that right there. Should not be on. And cool. Now that I have the whole, oh, you see, missed one. Now that I have the whole element selected, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and open my UV editors. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do quick peel to see if by some chance on first attempt it gets it. Sometimes in shapes like this it does, so I'm going to click on that. And as you can see, mapped it together. It's not perfect, so what could I do to fix this so we can get rid of some of these seams? So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go to edge mode, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch some of these areas together. So I'm going to go to 2, edge, turn off, select by element, control, 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 control. You can see where it's going to stitch together, tools, stitch selected. And as you can see, there's a tiny bit of distortion with the way the mesh is. So I'm going to go ahead and play with, lower that and erase it so that distortion is gone. Looks good there. And as you can see now, I have the whole part of the mesh mapped, at least the whole main element. So I'm going to take this part, put it to the side because I'm happy with that for the time being. And then I'm going to go ahead and select this little element right there, which is all that. Just that. So I'm going to go ahead and do tools, stitch select. No, not that. Tools, mapping, flatten mapping. I'm gonna hit OK. And as you can see, I have an unwrap, but I'm not exactly pretty satisfied with it. So what can we do about this? Let's go ahead and stitch together the elements that we like. So select that, tools, break, pull it over to the side, rotate it, and then go to edge and do, as you can see, this is together, so it's not exactly how I want it. So you know what, instead of actually stitching all this together, let's go ahead and do this, and all this, which makes up that main segment right there, and then go to mapping, flatten mapping, okay. Now it's flattened it all together more or less. So then I go to edge, select the side edge, tools, stitch selected. Not quite, as you can see, there's some distortions. You know what? Sometimes it's not worth bothering it. So in this occasion, I'm going to go ahead and select everything. And then I'm going to see if our good friend, the reset peel, works. Nope, doesn't work. Quick peel. There you go. Now you can see the elements have just been all separated and flattened into where there's no distortion. So sometimes you have to go and play around to see which ones give you the best results. In this occasion, it was the quick peel. So now I'm going to hit tools, stitch selected. That's stitched. Tools, stitch selected. You could probably put a shortcut in the menu if you like, so you can remember. And tools. And tools, stitch selected. Good. So now the whole element's done, so that's good. So now we want to do a second element. We're going to go ahead and do this one right here, which is going to be the one surrounding that little top element as far as you can see. Not all of it we want. No, that's not what we want. We want all of this. Just about all of it selected. Is that all selected? You see, that's good. Yeah, I like it. Let's go ahead and try quick peel again. And as you can see, sort of worked. Could have worked a little better. So what can we do to try this to see if it works a little better? So let's go ahead and pull it to the side. And you know what? We'll just go ahead and stitch it together, and that works. Tools, stitch selected. Good. No distortion. Tools, stitch selected. Good. And then tools, stitch selected. Good. And then when I click here, as you can see, when I select that, that means that this thing is unwrapped. So we take this, put it to the side. And then this one right here is, let's see, does that have any distortions? Not really. Put that to the side as well. And then the last element we have right here is this surrounding one. So let's go see if we can actually do the same again. Quick peel, does it work? Yes, quick peel. Go to edge again. Tools, stitch selected. Okay. Tools, stitch selected. Okay, good. And then again, one last time, tools, stitch selected. Good. So as you can see now, I have that center element. So now that I have all this, let's go ahead and move this right here so it's out of the way. And then I select all of this, and you put tools, pack UVs, okay. And then I took all this and took all of the elements and sort of scaled them. As you can see now, they are more or less the same. So we can go ahead and put this to the side for now. Take this, separate it a tiny bit from here and such. I think that's going to have that off. And that's unwrapped now. That's one element. And then we take this, just that part, put mapping, flatten mapping. Good. Quickly identify what is the main element right here. And then you go pop, stitch selected. Doesn't quite work as I like it to be, truth be told. And you know what, when you have, the more you have these curved surfaces like that, the more distortion you're going to have when you try to stitch stuff together. Tools, stitch selected. As you can see, that distortion happens. Sometimes you can fix it, and like in this occasion, that's good. And select these two again, tools, stitch selected. Sounds good. And then these two right here, I'm just going to leave them on their own so they don't distort the top and bottom pieces. So now that I have all of this nice and ready, I'm going go ahead and select these and then go to mapping. No, I'm going to go tools, pack UVs, okay. And as you can see, they've packed the UVs, so it doesn't quite fit in the texture space, but everything is more or less the same uniform scale when it comes to the scale. So then we can take this and put it to the side, and now we know that that element is done and ready for a later part. Yes. So now we're going to go ahead and unhide everything else, or unisolate everything else, and now we're going to do again the mapping to this section. So we're going to take that, we're going to isolate it, and then we're going to unwrap. I'm gonna go see, let's see what we can keep from this. So since we made this out of a cylinder, as you can see, that cylinder is already in good condition. So we're gonna take all of these, like you can see, effect back facing is on. So we're gonna click off that, and again, take them, select them all. That's good. Open the UV editor. And in case this is attached to something we don't want it to be attached, we do tools, we break, switch it to the side, and then right here using the freeform mode, we go and we scale it so it is not as distorted as it should be. On this occasion, the scale is a little big, so let's scale it a tiny bit so we can work with it a little better. Boom, that's good. And then under free selection, we scale it up, this. And then, oh shit. So as you can see now, equal mapping all around, that's good. Select the rest of the elements, and then we do mapping, flatten mapping, okay, yeah, hit okay, and put everything to the side. So before we go forward, let's go ahead and save, because this is always annoying to have to deal with again. So what are the parts that we can go ahead and stitch into something else? So this is going to be the top. That can be off to the side. We're going to select this polygon right here, tool, break, also to the side. So now that we probably want to go ahead and do these little sections right here, so that for the most part has a good mapping. So since this one is sort of one whole section, we'll map it as that and break it there. So I will go to Edge, Tools, Stitch Selected, and then I will go again, Tools, Stitch Selected, and then select one more, Tools, Stitch Selected. So now it's one whole element. And then when you want, and you take that whole element, as you can see when it's selected like this, try to see if you could do a quick peel to see if it makes it a little bit better. And on this occasion, there it is. Nicely peeled. So then we're going to go ahead and do the same for the last one. We could probably avoid all that stitching this time. So let's say we want this, control, 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 all those. If we, let's go, just go ahead and try to do a quick peel to see if it does it as one. Yes, that sort of works. Why not? So you know what? Let's go ahead and stitch the last bits of it to see if we can get it as one whole. So select the mesh, tools, stay selected. Okay. Tools, stitch selected. Okay. And then finally, tools, stitch selected. So again, now it's one whole piece, as you can see. We'll do the scaling afterwards. So we'll take this, separate it, and separate it out the way here. So what's left, let's see if we select all of this. These right here, we can just leave as they are. Separate these to the side since those don't have to be together. And then we get this, what's left, let's see. These right here, those could also be selected. So I'm just gonna go select element, click here, separate that, Separate that as well, because as you can see, that is the corresponding one, and that can be mapped by itself. That's good. And so then let's see, what do we have? Those are the ones we're not going to use. Then we have these right here. Yeah, you know what? These could also be by themselves. So, okay, so we have the top, which we don't touch for now. Put that to the side. So we select all of these again, and then we go Tools, Pack UVs, okay. And then as you can see now, they are uniformly packed, so they have the same scale. You could adjust them later, so we're going to separate that to the side. And then we're going to rotate and check out the size of this in relation. So take this element, and you know what? Let's go ahead and scale this one to fit according to the size of this one. So we're going to go this, and then, see, sometimes it does that, cut down. Sometimes there's an error like that where it doesn't let you choose the next thing you want to mess with. So I'm going to collapse it again, come back, unwrap, select all these here again, select the scale tool, and then start to slowly scale it so the squares have the same proportion of the rest of it. There you go. And then we are going to take both of these now that this is all, and separate to another corner so we can work with it together when we put it all together. So as you can see, that is good to go. Although truth be told, these look like this not exactly the perfect, so scale these a little bit more. See, why do you mess with me, stupid program? Polygon. See, look at this. Take these, scale them, and then once you have this element already, select all this, pull it to the side so you can see it somewhere, and then you collapse all, and now that is all set. So you're going to unisolate the other parts. Next element is going to be this little segment right here, and we're going to go ahead and just map this as one, and then make a copy, and then change the UV so we don't have to do the same work twice. So again, we're going to go, I'm going to do unwrap, and the first part we want to go ahead and work with is this little section right here, since it's one element. So I'm going to click on select element so I can select it. Boom. I'm going to scroll down to open UVs. You can see it's a bit of a mess, so we're going to go ahead and pull that to the lock. That locks the selection, and pull it to the side. So we're just working with that, and then when we unlock it again, we pull the rest of it so it's not in our way. Boom. So we're going to take this, and again, mapping, flat mapping, okay. And as you can see, it did a good portion of it. So what do I want to do to get it to work? So I click here, Tools, Stage Selected. Okay, select the rest of it, get it out my way. I'm going to go to Tools, Stitch Selected, good. And then right there, Tools, Stitch Selected, and right here, that's not good. So on this one, Tools, Stitch Selected, boom, and then this top element, select that, and can you see how I sort of made a little box with this little shape? So that's good. You know what, preemptively, let's go ahead and scale this for it to be sort of the scale to the right proportion to the body. So again, you see this shit happens, but so I'm going to go ahead and open it again, and then I'm going to hit scale, and I'm going to go all the way. Let's see, that looks okay. Maybe a bit smaller, bigger in size compared to the other one. And then we're going to take this and we're going to pull this to this side so we can do the rest. This is, then the next piece is going to be the cylinder right here. That's probably already done for us. Pull that to the side. So as you can see, I still have element selected because I want to select that. That's how I pulled that to the side. Unselect that. Take this. The ones that are already mapped for me, I go Tools, Break, Duke. And then I select the other ones. And then I can do, you know what, you could also use the quick peel on that one. It works quite nice. And you see, now it went and flattened these for me. So I want to go ahead and stitch these together. Or you know what, sometimes you could just keep them apart. Cylinders is one of those things we could always just keep it apart. So I'm just going to scale these. So when I look and I rotate, the two connections are more or less the same, maybe a little bit bigger right there. I'm going to take this element, put it to the side, this element, put it to the side, and this is going to be the hard one. Little pieces like this are always hard to judge when it comes to the size, so let's go ahead and, you know what, the rest of the stuff is getting pain in the ass and getting in my way, so let's unclick this, click that, and then hide selected. Oh, no, hide unselected. And then we're going to go back to our legs. Open that. Take the little tiny little element right here that I went and scaled, and this is going to be one of those little hard ones. Gotta go, and then I'm going to go ahead and you see this piss again. Ugh. And that seems like it's more or less good size that you can work with. So I'm going to take this. Right here, and I don't know what this thing is right here that keeps lighting up. But I don't want it, those little blue things. I have no idea what that is. Some new feature. I got to figure out what that is. So okay, so now that's been pulled aside and that's mapped. So now we have the rest of the element. And then we're going to do select it all, and then again mapping, flat mapping, hit OK. As you can see, it did a lot of the work for me, which is nice, really good. So where do we want to start out with? This element right here. Let's go ahead and select the whole element by clicking this one right here, pull that to the side. So what do we like? So we are going to go ahead and stitch, take off, select this all off. And select that, tools, stitch selected. Do you see how they have that little point here where it turns the corner? I usually avoid stitching those together because those create distortions. So I just connect one select connection point and then do it like that, hit OK, tools, stitch, stitch selected, okay. So I'm happy with that as a whole. Take that to the side. And then what else could we stitch to this? Tools, stitch selected. Now we have the other part of the leg. That's nice that we can get so much of that. As much as one piece, that's good. Is anything here that could be stitched? No, you see right here is that there's that little section right there that you really can't stitch it together. That it's not going to work. So these right here, for example, take this one, put it to the side. Let's see, what else can we use? What is this? Top one right there, I can stitch this to right here, so I'm going to go right there. Tools, stitch selected, good. Now that's connected, so that's one whole element, and I have an idea that's as best as I can stitch when it comes to this. So let's go ahead and do the rest of it. So let's go ahead and grab this one right here, select this right there to select the whole element, click that, pull it to the side, good. Is there anything we can stitch? Usually, from the way that I can see this, there's only a limited amount of places you can stitch because, like I said, when you have places where the mesh UVs goes like this and turns a corner like that, like an edge, it's best to not stitch those because they create a lot of distortion. So in this case, let's keep it simple. One of the legs, I'm going to go to edge mode, tools, stitch selected, stitch the bottom sole of the foot, click here, tools, stitch selected, click that tiny little element that makes up of it right there at the bottom. That's cool. See, tools, stitch selected. That could work. tools, stay selected, good work. And can I stitch this anywhere? The last part, no. I think the last part I'm just gonna have to take here, pull it to the side, and that's pretty good. So since I flattened that, the proportions to that should be good. So now I could select all of this. And if I do tools, mapping, no, tools, pack UVs. Okay, as you can see now, everything's been packed so it has the same uniform scale. That's nice. So now that I did that, I can go ahead and take this and go to scale, which again defies me. Close that. And the UV editor. I'm going to go to scale, and then I'm going to start scaling this so it fits to the other part of the UVs. That looks more or less spot on. And I'm going to go ahead and take all of this and then separate to the side, and then that's good. So now, as you can see, I have one leg, the top and the midsection mapped, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video off and have it finished in the part 2. So I'm gonna go ahead, before I do anything, Control S, save, and then that will be the end of this video.